Okay, I'm here with Dr. Stephen Camarota, who gave a talk today at the CIS event on the statistics behind immigration. Very interesting talk and a lot of stats that I haven't seen before.
Oh, well, good. Yeah, so some of the information we covered was how many people come into the United States each year. It's about 1.5 now, 1.6 million. The latest data from the Census Bureau suggested it surged much higher in 2014 and 2015 than it had been. It looks like we're getting back to a level that we haven't seen since around 2000, when again about 1.5, 1.6 million new legal and illegal immigrants were settling in the country each year.
One of the things you talked about that I found interesting was how illegal immigration from a country and legal immigration from a country tend to correspond to some degree. Could you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, in general, the top countries for sending legal immigrants are also the top country for sending illegal immigrants. Legal immigration and illegal immigration are almost two sides of the same coin. And the reason is quite natural, is that immigration is often driven by social networks, that is, relationships people have. People don't wake up in the morning one day and say, I want to go to America. They have a cousin, they have a brother, they have an in-law in the United States already who says, hey, you can come and stay with me for a while, when you first get here. Hey, I can get you a job at the factory, at the warehouse, that sort of thing. So these social networks provide the conduit through which immigrants come. And so research suggests that one of the main reasons illegal immigrants come, at least in the case of Mexico, is if they have a legal relative or friend, a member of their home community here. That dramatically increases the probability that they'll come to the United States.
There was another really fascinating statistic that you mentioned that jumped out at me because I work in a warehouse that has pouring with immigrants. At one point there was 17 people around me and everyone was from a different country, where people who were low on the education scale, who were immigrants, tended to be employed more than people who were like a high school dropout but native born.
Right.
I found that very fascinating.
Yes. The least educated immigrants are more likely to have a job than the least educated native. So if you're a high school dropout native-born person, maybe only 45% of those people have a job, whereas among immigrants it might be more like 70%. Now, as you move up the education ladder, that changes. Immigrants and natives who have a high school education are similar in their rates of employment, and once you get to the college-educated native is somewhat more likely to have a job than the college-educated immigrant. But at the very bottom of the labor market, the least educated, the immigrants are more likely to work. And this is partly because if you're a high school dropout in the United States, not always, but in many cases you suffer from other problems. That you may have a severe learning disability, you may have gotten in trouble with the law, you have a very tough family situation, and so the dropout American community, that's still numbers, say under the age of 16 is maybe about 16 million. So there's still a lot of folks who drop out of high school as adults, but they suffer from a lot of social disadvantages, and so they work less than correspondingly educated immigrants.
And finally, you're the Director of Research at the Center for Immigration Studies, and of course the debate is often about illegal immigration, but you talked a lot about legal immigration and its impact. How often do reporters or even bloggers like myself fail to understand or fail to appreciate the impact, for good or for ill, of legal immigration?
Right. It's important to understand that legal immigration is much larger than illegal immigration. Roughly speaking, if 1 million new legal immigrants settle in the country each year, the number of illegals is about 500,000, 600,000 a year, based on the latest data. So just by that fact, legal immigration has a much bigger impact. And it's legal immigration, for example, that's fundamentally reshaping the political landscape in the United States. Research on Middle Eastern immigrants, East Asian immigrants, and Hispanic immigrants all show they tend to support the policies of the Democratic Party more expansive government, regulation, that sort of thing. Now, whatever you think about that, it's just an example of how legal immigration is reshaping or shifting the political balance in the United States, because within 5, in some cases 3 years, new legal permanent immigrants can become citizens and vote.
And if people want to find out more about your research, where should they go?
Everything is available free of charge at our website, CIS.org. They can download them for free.
It's Dr. Stephen Camarota, Director of Research at CIS. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.